Hey everybody, I'm Dan McClellan. I'm a scholar of the Bible and religion. The fit for this video is the goddess Aurora, aka Storm. Let's take a look at a video.
This is why LGBTQ and this is why Satan is pushing this agenda so hard.
Alright, let's see it.
Because at the end of the day, the Lord created man for woman.
So this is actually wrong, and this is actually directly refuted in 1 Corinthians 11:9, where it says man was not created for woman, woman was created for man. And this is a very patriarchal take, but it reflects the earlier of the two creation accounts we find at the beginning of Genesis. In Genesis 2 and 3, we have this creation account probably coming from the 7th century BCE, probably somewhere around there, where the human is created, and then God says, ooh, it's not good that the human is alone. Let's try to find a suitable companion, and creates animals, but none of this works until finally God pulls off one of the sides of the human and creates the woman. And so in Genesis 2 and 3, the woman is created for the man so that the man could have a companion. Now, in Genesis 1, this is the later priestly creation account. None of that's there. The man and the woman are created simultaneously, and the purpose is so that they could have sovereignty over the earth. So, different account of how humanity is created, different account of why. None of them suggest man is created for woman, and the earlier one, the more patriarchal of the two, suggests woman is created for man, and that's what the very patriarchal Paul is going to pick up on, obviously, in 1 Corinthians.
The word literally says to be fruitful and multiply.
So now we're going back to the priestly account in Genesis 1, I think that's verse 28, and that could be interpreted not as a commandment, but as a part of a blessing. He blessed them and said, may you be fruitful and multiply, as in you are blessed with the ability to do this. It's not necessarily a commandment, although I acknowledge that's the majority reading.
You can't be fruitful and multiply if you do not have a wife.
Or maybe you can't have kids, or you don't want to have kids, which is perfectly fine, because the Bible is not consistent regarding any kind of commandment or expectation that anyone have kids. In fact, for Paul and the author of Matthew, and for much of early Christianity, it would be better to be celibate and not have kids at all. Paul thought Jesus was coming back too quickly for any of that to matter, which is why he says that in every congregation he lays down the same rule. You stay in whatever circumstances you were in when God called you. If you were married, stay married. If you weren't married, don't get married. If you don't have kids, don't have kids. Jesus is coming back too quickly. Woe to the one who is with child on that day. Matthew seems to suggest that asexuality or celibacy is the higher law. Jesus in Matthew 19 says that there are those who will make themselves eunuchs for the kingdom of heaven. And this is a difficult thing to accept, but the real ones are going to accept that. And then in heaven, there is no marrying or giving in marriage. Everyone is as the angels of heaven, which, according to the Enochic tradition, if they're being obedient, are supposed to be celibate and asexual. And so that's the higher law according to much of the New Testament. There is absolutely no expectation or commandment at all that anyone have kids. So this is renegotiating what's in the Bible to serve the interests of this creator's rhetorical goals, and specifically rhetorical goals related to their right-wing authoritarian identity politics.
Us as humans were made in the image of God. So whenever we cannot have kids, we cannot recreate. Every time we're recreating, we're actually glorifying the Lord whenever we do it correctly in marriage. And Satan gets frustrated because he sees just images of God over and over and over and over. So just the more humans and the more creations that he sees, he gets infuriated because he sees Jesus in us, which is wild.
It's wild to me that people with so little understanding of the Bible would so callously and ignorantly and blithely conflate LGBTQ plus people just trying to exist with Satan and a satanic agenda. To swipe a quote from another creator on this app, you need to do better. Mind your own business.